as I've said, the memorials, the concept of the memorial, I think has been put beautifully and will be put even better later on. But let me read you one short paragraph that will be put in black granite here at the site. This was written by the architect Philip Johnson, and I think it captures the spirit of this memorial. He says, "This cenotaph in honor of President Kennedy I conceive as a place of quiet refuge, an enclosed place of thought and contemplation, separated from the city around, but near the sky and earth. To commemorate the man John Fitzgerald Kennedy, there is within only a stone marker and the engraved name." Gentlemen, at this time I would like to introduce our County Judge, Lou Sterrett, who'd like to speak.
Thank you very much, John. Dawson Sterling, Mr. Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, and young people, this is a great occasion. May I ask you to just look around at this complex. You know, when these buildings were demolished, we destroyed 37 flop houses, beer joints, and whiskey stores. And then I would like to start over here with the Dealey Plaza. In fact, I like to pause over there once in a while because that statue over there, it demonstrates one thing, that this county has always been blessed by stalwarts. Mr. Dealey's Plaza is a good place to stop and meditate every once in a while. And then, of course, I'd like to go on down the Trinity River. Many can visualize a beautiful lake back of the old red courthouse. And then, of course, the marvelous, one of the greatest industrial districts, the Stemmons Industrial District, on down the other direction. And then you come back around this direction and you find the Times Herald, another stalwart, Mr. Keats, that worked with Mr. Dealey so long to build a good, sound community. Then we come on around to the Overtons that had the dream. And it is a fantastic thing. Main Place 1. Then, of course, we can look over here at our junior college that Bob Thornton Jr. had the vision. And I predict that this will be one of the greatest junior colleges in all America. Then we come on back around to the Goria complex between the auditorium and the Dallas Morning News and WFAA, which will be a fantastic complex. Then, of course, we don't want to forget Mr. Thornton, Sr. I remember when we approached him about this complex, he said, "Well, son, I've never had all the answers, but if I can gather enough people around me, we'll find the answers." And he did just exactly that. And of course, John Stemmons arguing with us about the greenery down here. You see this block over here? That will be another plaza. And in my opinion, this is going to be one of the greatest spots in the county of Dallas. And I want to express my appreciation to the commissioners here this morning for having worked with the Kennedy Committee and all concerned in bringing this about. And Mr. Marcus, we're grateful to you for having found Mr. Philip Johnson. So we are all rather proud of this complex. And it tells one great story, that when leaders work together as a team, it brings about great things. Thank you.
Let me ask one person to stand up, and that's Dawson Sterling of New York City. Dawson is the former chairman of the Kennedy Commission and the man that did most of the work for the longest period of time. Dawson? The next person I'd like to introduce is Bob Cullum, whom you all know. Bob is the vice chairman of the Kennedy Commission and a grand guy. Bob Cullum.
Thank you, John. Before I get into the very brief remarks that I have prepared for this morning, I can't let this occasion go by to do something that he in his modesty can't do, and that is to say how vital to this event has been the work of John Shokal, who, when Dawson had to going on 7 fast and frantic years, laden with new burdens, fraught with many frustrations, going on 7 years long in the light of our impatience for the achievement of this day, but going on 7 years quite short, a mere few seconds in the ageless memory of John Kennedy. And I would pose this proposition to you, my fellow citizens, who bear the indelible mark of that day nearing 7 years ago. The delay, quite long to some of us sometimes, has given good and wise age to our best desire and our full intent. The shock of that day is largely healed. The sensitive rawness of penance is past. So this happy day we come proudly to pay tribute to the life of that winsome man, not his death. Down the years, these trees will grow to noble proportions and shed their shade on grass green in its season, and this handsome concrete and granite will mellow and ripen. To the generations to come, we will warmly and brightly and proudly honor the life of a bright, warm, proud, and forever young name, that in this cherished plot of land shall never lose its luster. Thank you.
Now I would like to call on a man who not only happens to be one of the great architects of our age in the world, Philip Johnson, but a man who happens also to be just a heck of a nice guy and who has worked very long, very hard to see that the memorial is something that we will all be proud of for many, many years. Philip?
This cenotaph, this empty tomb, this empty room, this room where any of us can walk in and be separated from the daily life around us, where we can walk in and see nothing but the sky, the walls, the granite marker, the engraved name, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. This cenotaph is all that after all, I'm only an architect. The only way I have to express the feelings that I'm sure all of us had during these intervening years, this feeling of honoring a man that I loved and admired, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Thank you.
To complete our dedication service today, Bishop Thomas Shapey, Catholic Bishop of the Diocese of Dallas, will offer a dedicatory prayer.
Give peace, O Lord, to those who have hoped in you, and let your prophets be proved true. Almighty God, Father of us all, Creator of the heavens and the earth and of all things, we, your children, recall your greatness, your mercy, your kindness. We recall to mind this morning one of your servants, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, a man who served you by serving his fellow man in a sacred duty entrusted to him. We seek your aid, O Lord, as we dedicate this cenotaph in his honor, to dedicate ourselves to the things for which he stood, the majesty of your name, the consciousness of your presence, the vision of this country of which he was president, the ideals of freedom, liberty, and justice. Many hands and hearts have united to erect this memorial, which will bring to mind the courage, the dreams and ideals of our leader. We are reminded of the words of St. John as he wrote them in the book of Revelations, and I quote, "Then I heard a voice from heaven say to me, 'Write down, happy are those who die in the Lord. Happy indeed,' the Spirit says. Now they can rest forever after their work, since their good deeds go with them." We are confident that these words aptly apply to John Fitzgerald Kennedy.